Hi, and welcome back to my channel. And today, I wanted to talk with you about some of the people that I met when I was in the shelter. Now, just like I thought in my past that when you talk about somebody who live in the shelter and you're homeless and whatnot, you're talking about people that you see um, when you're traveling in some areas where you see a lot of homeless people. True enough, there are a lot of those that are out there that are homeless, and I feel so bad for them because, some of them are sick, mentally and physically. They're sick. When they are sent to a hospital, they're treated, but then they're sent back out into the elements, you know, and uh, instead of giving them full assistance in trying to help them to, stay healthy, because when you're sleeping on the streets or you um, you have certain illnesses that you need continuous care for, but you have to put them out on the streets to because you need room in the hospital for somebody else. It's a sad thing, but in my journey of being homeless and meeting some of the people that I saw in the shelters, the women that I saw, I met a young lady who she traveled from another state. Her and her son was fleeing uh, a bad relationship that she was in, where he was abusive to her. And she came to my city and she started looking for work, but she had to live in a shelter uh, because, she didn't have enough money to, um, go get a hotel or invest in an apartment. She needed to come here so that she could, um, find work. And, you know, um, she stayed here for a while with her job search, but she found herself leaving here, Texas, and she went to another state where, she was able to get a job quickly. And we stayed in touch and whatnot. We had a lot in common. I'm a social worker, but she worked well, I'm a retired social worker, and she works in business. But we were able to connect, and and it was nice meeting her. So another young lady that I met, uh, she was a teacher, and she was before she left teaching, and she didn't leave teaching because she wanted to. She left teaching because um, she went through a divorce, and she lost her only child in the divorce. I don't know the reasons, but uh, she wind up being depressed. And when she got depressed, she just had she didn't have the mental capacity to continue taking care of herself financially. So she found herself um, in a shelter, and she found herself deep in depression. And sometimes when people get deep into a certain type of depression, it's hard for them to come out. And it was hard for her to come out. It was hard. Um, So, you know, I I pray for them and I wish them well. So, okay, the next person that I met in the shelter, she was a well-known gospel singer here in Texas, and she went through depression. You know, and she said she had a misstep. Her misstep was her depression, and she had a good spirit about herself. We kept in touch. We keep in touch. She's no longer in the shelter. She got out of the shelter before I did. She was just there temporarily while she got her next place to live. She wasn't going to go into her own place. She was going to go into a place with one of her siblings. But she needed to come to the shelter and stay in the shelter until her sibling came to Texas to get her. So she moved to Austin, and you know, I was happy to meet her, you know, and happy to know that, you know, when someone is going through something and they need to take a break, you know, they need to step back, and if you don't have family that you can fall on to take that break and step back, the shelters are there. You know, the shelters are there. And I have a different view of shelters. And not the first one. The first one, I don't ever want to go back to one like that first one. The first shelter that I was in, um, it had okay, so you go there and you stay there, you clean up, you get chores, and you get a meal, breakfast and dinner. But at 7 o'clock, after breakfast, after chores, they kick you out. So you're out of the shelter from 7 o'clock in the morning until they'll let you back in by 4, but no later than 6 p.m. And, you know, during that time, you know, I was still healing. And it's like, okay, you know, and I had to walk the streets, you know, with a lot of people that was homeless, you know, some worse off than me, but health wise, I mean. But I wind up finding colleges that I can go to and sit in their library or go to their computer room. Or I found libraries that I can go to and use their computer to do my apartment search and whatnot. And it was a challenge. All of that was a challenge. But I'm on here right now talking about the people that I met in my journey. Excuse me. In my journey of being in shelters. So everybody that you think of in being in a shelter is not there. They're some of them are very educated, and I saw there were families there, you know, nice families, man and wife and their children in some of the last shelter that I was in. Where in the last shelter that I was in, I didn't have to go out and be in the elements like that. It was more structured. I was able to, now look for an apartment. I was able to get, registered back in school. I was able to do things that I wasn't able to do at the first shelter, but I found more structure, and other people found more structure in that facility. So that's all I wanted to talk to y'all about right now. So I want you to come back, listen to more of my videos, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.